morning.
Good morning.
Always amazing to be with you. Thank you. So it's a little continuation this morning. We had a gathering yesterday, a big gathering. What's called satsang in this tradition. So we meditated together, we chanted the names together, some kirtan, and then we took a little reading from Bhagavad Gita, and we discussed some of the wisdom of life, wisdom of the Gita, which is not different from the wisdom of science of mind with Dr. Holm. So we made some connections. We had some amazing questions and discussion that came from that. And then I asked the question, so what should we talk about tomorrow? Today. Tomorrow is today. I mean, imagine that. And so the suggestion came, and everyone agreed, how to not judge others, how to be not judgmental. And so everyone seemed to agree. So we said, okay, this will be interesting. So where do we start? We start with definitions of words usually. So let's do that. I want to just read a little bit. This is Webster's, a trip to Webster's yesterday. Just to look at the words, and then we can have some discussion about this. First, the definition of judgment. There are three primary definitions. The first is an opinion or decision that is based upon careful thought. The act or process of framing an opinion or making a decision after careful thought, or the act of judging. And then the third is the ability to make good decisions about what should be done. I'm not hearing anything wrong here so far, are you? It doesn't sound like a bad thing, does it? Interesting. Two more words, and then we can discuss this. The second word is discernment, and it's related. The other two words here are discernment and discrimination. Discernment, the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure or obscured. The ability to grasp and comprehend what is obscure or obscured. This is a very important one. And then an act of perceiving or discerning something. So those are the two for discernment. And then finally, discrimination. And what makes it to the top is the common use, very common use of the term in today's language, the practice of unfairly treating a person or group of persons differently from other people or groups. And then two other, the ability to recognize the difference between things that are of good quality and those that are not, and the ability to understand that one thing is different from another thing. And then we looked a little bit at judging and judgmental and like that. So what's happening? And what is this judgment? So when we read the definition, it's not that it sounds like there's something wrong, correct? The question for us is, are we carefully considering, and are we considering all the facts? And are we using discernment? Have we gone to the root of the matter? Have we seen what is veiled or what is covered, what is obscuring, or what is obscuring? Have we seen this? The reading this morning from Dr. Holmes speaks about ignorance, like a primal ignorance, primal nescience. So implying something that's obscured or something that's obscuring. And so this is the question, and this is what we deal with. So normally when we talk about judgment in a negative connotation, and that was really the conversation yesterday, and that's a very common conversation, feeling that we're being judged or judging another harshly like this. Normally when we're talking about judgment in this context, we're talking about a rush to judgment, or judging perhaps unfairly is a question. Are we really discerning? Are we really getting to the heart of the matter? And it's helpful to see what's happening. We had some lovely discussion yesterday about mind and science of mind, and I'm back on the drive down to the next chapter listening on Friday night, Saturday morning as I was driving home. How many have read Science of Mind? No, beautiful. So it's quite profound. Dr. Holmes teaches how many minds are there for all those who teaches that there's one mind, universal mind. But there's so many different levels and so many different attributes of this one mind. And there's another challenge, which is it seems as if there are many minds. It seems as if there are many minds. It seems there's my mind and your mind. So we can hear Dr. Holmes saying there's one mind, but in fact it seems like many. And within our own person, within our own personality, how many different ideas of things are there?
Too many.
It brings to mind the definition of whole or complete. It's like, I must be complete because I have every different idea about everything you could possibly have. All within me. We were having some discussion yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita discussion about mind or oneself, the I. I am this, I am that. What we tend to do is we tend to limit ourselves so severely. We have this feeling that I am this body. We have this feeling that I am alone and incomplete and in need of completion. This feeling is called ego or ego sense. This is in Sanskrit ahamkara, which means to add or to arrogate something unto oneself. So taking oneself to be this body, or taking oneself to be alone and incomplete. And it's a feeling, and it's clearly a feeling, but also, as Dr. Holmes would say, it's incorrect. It's incorrect. We're not this body, and we're also not alone, incomplete. Do you ever hear him say that we're actually incomplete? Ever heard it? So the wisdom teaching is that we're whole and complete. We're not incomplete. But it feels as if we are. Now, where does all of this exist? These feelings, these thoughts, etc. They all exist within one mind. They all exist within one mind. So I experienced this and I experienced that. When we study and we ask the question, what in the world is happening? Why is this? What we see is that in these aspects of this mind, or the experience of self, there are different levels of consciousness, different levels of experience. There is within us the light. Is it so? There is within us peace, yes? Is the peace just there now and then? No, it's always here, yes? The peace is always here. The light, does it just visit? It comes every now and then? It comes on the holidays. It comes when the sun is up. It's also always here, right? Yeah. So there is an aspect of mind which is not apart from you, which is at that point of light, which is at that point of peace. So in the depth of your mind, in the depth of your existence, you find it, is it so? And that aspect of mind is called in the Sanskrit tradition, guru. In the Western tradition, it's called intuitive mind. Intuitive mind. It's not separate from the aspect of the mind that's looking out through the senses. But the perspectives of those two aspects of mind will naturally be different. You see, there's a purpose of them. If we're to enjoy the world, if the light is to enjoy the world, first it has to create the world, of course, in order to enjoy the world. It has to project. But also it has to have a function in order to enjoy what's out there. And so we experience both within our being. We experience the light and we experience the sense objects within our being. So we reach within to find peace, we reach without to find objects. We confuse the two. Our tendency is to confuse. Our tendency is to imagine that within the objects is the light. Within the objects is happiness. Within the objects is wisdom. Within the objects is peace. We'll imagine this to be so. And this is what's said to be ignorance. Because it's not so. But in the center of the objects, if we were to peel the objects and see what's at the center of them, we would find exactly the same as what's at the center of us. In every single one of them. Swami Premanandaji Maharaj would say, my teacher in India, he would say, in order to enjoy the world, banana came in. In order to enjoy the world, you have to treat it like a fruit, like a banana. He said you have to peel it first in order to enjoy it. And so this is discernment. This is discernment, seeing what's really here. The light is here, and the light is here. The light is here, and the light is here, yes?
Yeah.
So in that way, we peel away the names and the forms. It's a process of discernment, of getting to what is occluded, of getting to what is hidden, right? Both within ourselves and within each and every one of us. Does it resonate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the light is in every single one of us. Our issue with judging is that we're missing this essential point. It's nothing other than that. It's a big deal because that's an essential point. So, right? It's a rush to judgment. It's not the fact that we're judging. In fact, we want good judgment in spiritual path. We want good judgment. We want good discernment. We want pure discernment. We want the ability to really parse the unreal, the changing, the ephemeral, that which exists as a show, right? The sense objects and such. We want to be able to set that aside and see the essence. That's discernment. And then we have the ability to judge. But then we would not judge harshly, right? Then we would not judge harshly. Then we would make a conclusion. It's interesting, this pure judgment is something that leads us to unshakable faith. It's a process of learning. It's a process of finding what the truth is and revealing the truth. As is discernment, as is the pure discrimination, not discriminating against this person or this group of people based on color or age or sex or any of this, but to actually be able to see. So, and we can't help the fact that we are within the mind, the nature of the intellect, the nature of the conscious mind, that principle. And there's great complexity in mind, but within the mind we see subconscious mind, we see conscious mind, we see intuitive mind. And these are relative levels within the unity of mind, and mind is a unity. But we experience it as if it were disunity. That's a perspective thing. So from the aspect of mind that's looking out, that aspect of mind won't see the light, it won't recognize the light until you train it to see the light. And that training of the reactive tendency is something that we do with the conscious mind. We use the conscious mind, the discerning capacity, the ability to ask these questions, these beautiful questions like the ones that were asked yesterday, and then to naturally explore them and to see where they lead. And through discernment, we see the light is what's here. Appearing is this, appearing is that, and that opens, it purifies this power of discernment and the power of judgment. So really what we're being guided to do is to learn to see properly. And that's really what this path of evolution is about, is learning to see properly. What does that mean? If we look at it from the standpoint of mind, global mind, universal mind, what does that mean? It means a unification, where none of the aspects of the mind imagine themselves to be separate. And for the personal experience, what's the personal experience? So the eye still functions, the sight still functions, the senses still function, the ability to recognize the difference between one object and another still functions. But when the light is present and permeates the entirety of this mind, this individual mind, we can say like this, then at the same time there's not a forgetting, but there's only the light here. So this situation that I'm working with right now, it's a difficult situation. Any situation, you can fill in the blank. This person, it's difficult. It's difficult to see the light in them. It's difficult to see the light in them. Why is it difficult to see the light in them? Because they themselves are not able to see who they are. They themselves have forgotten who they are. But if you can remember, then you can help them to remember as well. If we can remember who's here. So this discernment, this beautiful question that you asked, this discernment, this judgment, what we're learning to do is how to discern properly. We're learning how to come to conclusions that are beneficial. The settled conclusion that all that is here is the light is not a rush to judgment, that's a proper judgment. It's a beneficial judgment. The other, and just in the same vein, the challenge that we have when we rush to judgment is two things, and we miss these. First of all, is we're missing what is occluded when we rush. Right? We're missing what is covered. We're missing the light. We're missing the essence. We haven't gone deep enough. That's number one. And when that's so, we'll always make an error. Number two, however we judge another, we immediately experience in our own mind the effect of that judgment. Just like that. So if we judge another to be bad, then we have to have taken on whatever quality we're judging them with in our own mind, and then we get to experience it. I think Jesus says something like, as you judge another, so shall you be judged. Right? And this is how it works. It's just the way the mind is. So in order to infer a quality on someone else, in order to superimpose a quality on someone else, you have to take it in your own mind to do it. So if you're to see someone doing something wrong that will make you angry, then you're going to have to become angry. Yeah? If you choose that someone has judged, if you judge them to have done something so bad that you can't have them in your life anymore, then you have to cut a part of your life out of your life to do it. You have to take on that quality of hatred in your own mind. And we have the idea we're living with other people all the time, but what we're actually doing is living with ourselves. We're living with our own ideas about things. Right? We live with our own ideas about things. So I'm not living with Bill, a terrible person. I'm living with my idea of Bill as a terrible person. And I might be able to get away from Bill, but I can't get away from my idea of Bill as a terrible person. And so wherever I go, I'll be stuck with that idea in my subconscious. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So don't judge. And if you're going to judge, then go all the way. And it will be natural to judge, by the way. We can say don't judge, but what we mean is don't rush to judgment. Right? Don't judge harshly. Don't judge without taking into account that which is occluded, that which is hidden from view by the senses. And what's hidden from view to the senses is the light. But the light is not hidden from the view of the intellect that is abiding in the light. So the intellect, when we get to a process of seeing, Dr. Holmes, it's correct, I see this, 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 and this. There is one. God is in God is in all. God is in everyone. So that's an intellectual statement. So now And don't judge yourself either, but use discernment. And don't judge yourself either. That's just as bad or worse than judging others. In other words, don't rush to judge yourself. Don't label yourself based upon the things you think or say or do, because those are temporal. They're coming and going. And don't forget, the entire world of experience is inside anyway, so you wait a moment, it'll change. So don't be in a rush to judge yourself either. Not without complete information, not without proper discernment, not without recognizing what's included. And then we teach ourselves, and this is what to do, is we teach ourselves. We teach ourselves lovingly. What does that mean? It means we're bringing the light, which is in the center of us, which is also within the scriptures, within the traditions, within the words of Dr. Holmes, within the words of the Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita, etc. We bring this in our thoughts and our words and our actions into the subconscious mind. We bring the light in. Because those tendencies are still there, the tendency to judge quickly, the tendency to look harshly, the tendency to, and that's born of this raga dvesha, the idea that I'm going to find something in this world that's going to make me happy forever. Or something's going to happen to me that will prevent me from being happy. Those are false notions as well, but they exist within the subconscious. And we've made choices in the past based on those notions and ideas, haven't we? Yeah, but now we learn a different way. Now we learn not to continue to make decisions, but we're still dealing with the tendencies part of the past. Yeah. And so we just bring light to them. What does that mean? We meditate every day for a little bit. We read every day the wisdom. We join the services, satsangs, however we can get them, every day, twice a day. Morning and night is best. We start the day with God, we end the day with God, we fill the day with light. This is what we do. We don't judge ourselves harshly. We really learn not to judge others through this process as well. When we make a mistake, we made a mistake. We observe it, we see, I made a mistake. We forgive ourselves and we go on. And we resolve once again, I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to remember, I'm not going to forget. You take that strong resolve once again and you just take the steps forward. It's like this. This is how we do it. God bless us all. In the words of the great Tiny Tim from A Christmas Carol. God bless us, everyone.